The stars outside the Erebus shimmered like scattered jewels. Captain Elias Thorne stood on the command deck, his hands moving over panels that no human had touched for centuries. The warship hummed in response, a low vibration that filled the corridors. It was alive in a way that went beyond circuits and engines. It was intelligent, aware, and it seemed to test every action Elias took, sir. Lena's voice came through the calm but full of concern. The alien crews are growing impatient. They've begun sending boarding pods toward the ship. If they try to force their way inside— Elias did not need her to finish the sentence. The thought alone sent a shiver down his spine. The Erebus was powerful, but Elias knew it had been built for war, and even dormant. It could respond in ways that were unpredictable. One wrong move, and the ship's full power could destroy everything around it. "We'll be ready," he said quietly. "The ship trusts me. That's what matters." The first challenge came unexpectedly. As he moved to restore the navigation system, the Erebus projected an illusion into the command deck. The deck shifted, walls stretching and twisting. Figures in ancient armor appeared, shouting orders that made no sense, speaking in long-forgotten languages. Elias froze for a moment, but then he smiled. "So, you want to test me?" he murmured. "Fine." He moved through the illusions carefully, touching panels, rerouting circuits, and bypassing systems that appeared broken. Every time he solved a problem, the illusion flickered and changed. The ship was learning whether he could think under pressure. Most species would panic or attempt brute force, but Elias used observation and creativity. He noticed patterns, shortcuts, and sequences that seemed illogical at first. Hours passed in this way. The illusions tested him, but Elias's skill and determination impressed the Erebus. Slowly, the holograms disappeared, replaced by the real controls of the ship. Lights glowed steadily. Systems whirred as engines, shields, and weapons came online. "Sir," Lena said, "the aliens outside are growing frustrated. They are debating whether to force entry." Elias looked at the view screen. Through the viewport, small pods drifted toward the Erebus. Each one carried alien crews equipped with the latest boarding technology. For most species, these weapons were terrifying. For humans, it was an obstacle, but not an insurmountable one. "Let them come," Elias said, a spark of determination in his eyes. "We'll show them the difference between force and ingenuity." The first pod made contact with the hull. Energy pulses from the ship's defenses activated, creating a field that prevented the aliens from attaching themselves. The pod drifted harmlessly into space. Another pod approached, and then another. Each time, Elias worked with the ship, rerouting power to shields and engines in ways the aliens could not predict. "What are you doing, sir?" Lena asked. "Adapting," Elias replied. "The ship has systems they don't understand. I just need to learn how to use them." The Erebus seemed to respond to his confidence. Panels shifted, opening access to auxiliary controls. Hidden weapon systems powered up, yet Elias held back. He did not want to destroy the aliens, not yet. He wanted to teach them, to demonstrate that humans were capable of strategy, beyond mere destruction. It was during this time that Elias discovered another secret. Deep in the engine room, he found systems that could manipulate gravity, create localized fields that bent space around the ship. He realized that if he could master these, the Erebus could move in ways no other ship in the galaxy could, slipping past enemies, evading attacks, even turning the environment into a weapon. "Sir," Lena's voice sounded excited now. You're unlocking systems no one thought existed." Elias nodded. "We're not just repairing the ship. We're awakening it. It's more than a warship, it's alive, and it understands me. That's why it listens." The aliens outside began to recognize that their attempts were failing. They tried to force commands into the Erebus, using advanced hacking devices and brute force protocols. But the ship rejected all inputs. Its loyalty was singular. Only humans and only Elias could guide it. One alien commander, tall and blue-skinned, barked orders at his crew. Why won't it respond? "We have the technology. We have the skill." A younger officer whispered, It listens to him." "The human." The commander froze. Impossible. Right. But the evidence was clear. Sensors recorded the ship responding to Ilias's voice and touch alone. The aliens had never seen anything like it. In their arrogance, they assumed that power alone would be enough. Elias proved otherwise. As the hours passed, Elias learned to move with the ship. He didn't just command it, he danced with it. Engines adjusted before he even issued a formal command. Shields strengthened in anticipation of incoming threats. The Erebus projected holographic decoys, confusing the alien fleet. Every action seemed instinctive, a combination of human intuition and the ship's intelligence. During a brief pause in the conflict, Elias walked the corridors, inspecting systems. He saw evidence of the ship's past, battle scars, memorials to lost crews, holographic messages from centuries ago. It had fought wars, defended worlds, and witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. Now it waited for someone worthy, and in Elias it had found that someone. He returned to the command deck. "The alien fleet won't stop," he said. "They will try everything, but we will be ready. We have the advantage they cannot understand: creativity and courage." He smiled. "I think the ship respects you." Elias nodded. "More than that, it trusts humans. It trusts me. And that changes everything." Now, the alien pods continued to probe the Erebus's defenses, but none could breach them. Elias began experimenting with the ship's advanced systems. He activated a defensive array that created a temporary field of invisibility around the vessel. The alien fleet could not detect the Erebus, even as it moved closer to their formation. "Sir, are you serious?" Lena asked, awe in her voice. "We can sneak past them without being seen." "Yes," Elias said, a grin forming. "Oh, he can." "They won't know what hit them." It was more than clever strategy. It was the human touch, the ability to see possibilities where others saw limits. The aliens could rely on brute force and logic, but humans had imagination, adaptability, and daring. Those qualities allowed Elias to awaken the full potential of the Erebus. By the end of the cycle, the warship was partially awakened. It moved under its own power, shields fully online, and weapon systems calibrated. The alien fleet, frustrated and confused, began to retreat temporarily. For the first time in centuries, the Erebus had moved not as a machine following orders, but as a living vessel recognizing the skill of a human. Elias watched the stars through the command deck. "This is just the beginning," he said softly. "We've awakened the ship, but the galaxy is still out there, and they will want it back." The Erebus responded with a soft hum, as if agreeing. It was ready to follow Elias wherever he chose to go, and for the humans aboard, hope grew. They had faced impossible odds, defied expectation, and discovered something no other species could achieve. A human had awakened a legend. A human had earned the trust of a warship older than many civilizations, in the silence of space. As the stars stretched endlessly before them, Elias knew one thing. This was not just about survival. This was about showing the galaxy what humans were capable of: intelligence, courage, and the unyielding spirit to face challenges that seemed impossible. And with the Erebus awakened, nothing would ever be the same again. The silence of space was deceptive. Beyond the distant glow of a dying star, the alien fleet gathered like a storm, waiting to strike. Their numbers were vast, their ships heavily armed and coordinated. To most species, such a force would be unstoppable. But the humans aboard the Odyssey and the awakened, Erebus saw opportunity where others saw fear. Captain Elias Thorne stood on the command deck of the Erebus, his eyes scanning the view screen. Each alien ship's position, each pattern of movement was clear to him, but he knew brute force would not win this battle. He needed cunning, precision, and creativity. That was humanity's advantage. "Sir," Lena reported, "the fleet is sending a massive wave of drones ahead of the main force. They're testing our limits again." Elias nodded. "Let them come. We'll show them what it means to face a human commander." The drones approached, sleek and deadly, their energy weapons primed. But the Erebus moved differently than the aliens expected. Using a combination of auxiliary thrusters and gravity manipulation, Elias guided the ship through a cluster of nearby asteroids. The drones fired, but their attacks were deflected, absorbed, or misdirected. The warship seemed to flow through space, almost alive, responding to Ilias's thoughts before they became commands. "Sir, how are you doing this?" Lena asked, awe in her voice. Elias smiled faintly. "We're not just fighting, we're thinking ahead. They can't anticipate creativity. That's what humans do best." The first wave of drones was neutralized with minimal damage to the ship. Then came the main force of the alien fleet. Massive warships, bristling with weapons, moved into attack formation. Most species would have panicked, but Elias remained calm, studied the ships carefully, noting their blind spots, their predictable firing sequences, and their reliance on advanced but rigid tactics. "They think they can overwhelm us with numbers," Elias said quietly. "They don't understand that we can outthink them." The Erebus shifted suddenly, moving into a region of space where the gravitational pull of a nearby pulsar could be used as a weapon. Elias activated the ship's gravity manipulation system, creating localized distortions. The alien fleet, unprepared for such maneuvers, struggled to maintain formation. Some ships collided with debris. Others were forced to break off attacks, trying to recalibrate their systems. "Sir, the fleet is reacting," Lena exclaimed. "They've never seen anything like this." Elias leaned forward. "Good, let them feel confusion. That's the first step toward victory." Then he discovered another hidden system within. The Erebus, a stealth array that could bend light and sensors around the ship. He activated it, making the warship nearly invisible. The alien fleet searched frantically, scanning space for their target. Unaware that it was already moving through their midst, with precision, Elias guided the Erebus to strike at key points in the enemy formation. He deployed small drones from hidden launch bays, which acted as decoys and interference devices. Each move was calculated, forcing the aliens to make mistakes while keeping the humans and the warship safe. The battle raged for hours. Energy beams streaked across space, explosions lit up the void, and the Erebus moved like a ghost, striking where necessary and vanishing before the enemy could respond. Elias's tactics were unconventional, unthinkable to the alien commanders. He could not predict his moves, and that uncertainty became their weakness. During a brief pause in combat, Elias reviewed the ship's systems. He found ancient archives containing strategic knowledge from wars long past. The Erebus had fought countless battles, each leaving behind data and lessons. But it had remained dormant, waiting for someone capable of understanding its full potential. "Elias, was that someone?" "Sir," Lena said, "the ship is responding to your commands faster than ever. It's like it anticipates your thoughts." Elias nodded. "That's why we're here. The Erebus trusts humans in a way no other species could earn. That trust is our weapon." The alien fleet was relentless. They regrouped, forming a tighter formation, attempting to flank the Erebus and trap it. Elias studied their movements carefully, knowing a direct confrontation could be disastrous. Then he smiled. "Time to use the environment to our advantage," he said. He guided the Erebus into the pulsar's radiation field. Energy waves from the star created interference with enemy sensors. The warship, protected by its advanced shielding, moved safely, while the alien fleet's targeting systems faltered. Elias then activated the hidden offensive systems he had discovered, energy pulse emitters that could disable engines temporarily, giving the Erebus openings to strike. The aliens were caught off guard. Their ships slowed. Some became trapped in gravitational distortions, and others collided with asteroids. Elias seized the moment, striking strategically to force the fleet to retreat. "Sir," Lena said, her voice filled with excitement, "you've done it again. The fleet is breaking apart." Elias allowed himself a small smile. "Yes, but this is only one battle. They'll come back stronger. We need to be ready for anything." Despite the victory, Elias remained vigilant. He knew the aliens would adapt, and the Erebus's abilities had limits. But he also knew that humans had strengths no other species possessed: creativity, adaptability, and courage. The warship, awakened and loyal, amplified these strengths. He spent the next cycle exploring more of the ship's hidden systems. He found additional stealth arrays, ancient drone factories, and defensive modules that could be activated when needed. Each discovery increased his confidence and strengthened the bond between human and machine. The crew of the Odyssey watched in awe. Humans, often underestimated, had taken command of a legendary warship and used it to defeat an overwhelming fleet. Their ingenuity and bravery were unmatched, proving once again why humanity could thrive, even in the most dangerous corners of the galaxy. As night fell across the distant starfield, Leah stood on the observation deck. Stars stretched endlessly. Before him, each one a potential challenge, a potential opportunity. He whispered to the Erebus, almost as a promise, "We will face them again. We will grow stronger. We will protect those who cannot defend themselves." The warship responded with a gentle hum, lights pulsing softly in agreement. It was a living promise, a bond between human and machine that no alien force could break. And in that moment, Elias understood the true power of command. It was not about fear, not about force, not about numbers. It was about trust, intelligence, and the courage to face the unknown. The alien fleet may have returned to regroup, but the humans and the awakened Erebus were ready. Every maneuver, every strategy, every decision would be guided by the combination of human ingenuity and ancient power. Together they were unstoppable. The trials of command had grown more difficult, but Elias knew one thing: with the Erebus by his side, humans could face any challenge, outthink any enemy, and survive against all odds. And in the endless expanse of the stars, a human captain had proven that courage, intelligence, and ingenuity were as powerful as any weapon. The galaxy was beginning to see it. Humans were not to be underestimated. The Erebus moved gracefully through the void, its massive hull reflecting the glow of distant stars. Captain Elias Thorne sat in the command chair, his hands resting lightly on the control panels. Every light, every hum of the ship responded to him as if it could sense his intentions. It was more than control, it was partnership. Outside, alien fleet still lurked, testing the boundaries of the Erebus's defenses. Small skirmish drones darted forward, probing the ship's shields and scanning for weaknesses. To most species, this would be terrifying. To Elias, it was an opportunity. "Sir," Lena said, monitoring the approaching drones, "they're testing us again. They don't understand that we have the advantage." Elias leaned forward, studying the projections of enemy movements. "They think power alone wins battles. They haven't learned what humans can do with creativity." He began issuing commands, but not in the way the aliens expected. Instead of engaging the enemy directly, Elias guided the Erebus into a complex maneuver that used the gravity of a nearby neutron star. The ship's engines hummed as it bent space slightly, slipping between the enemy formations like a shadow. The drones were left behind, confused and unable to follow. "Impressive," Lena said, her voice filled with awe. "You're thinking in ways no one else would dare." "That's the human advantage," Elias replied. "We adapt. We improvise. We see options others ignore." The Erebus's systems responded seamlessly. Hidden thrusters activated, projecting tiny bursts that further destabilized the alien formations. The ship's sensors picked up every movement of the fleet, anticipating their strategies before they could execute them. It was as if the ship itself was learning from Elias, combining its ancient intelligence with human creativity. The first real test came when a wave of larger warships entered the field. Their weapons were designed to overwhelm any defense. Most species would panic, retreat, or attack blindly. Elias remained calm. He studied the enemy, analyzing their formation, weapon ranges, and timing. Then he smiled. "Time to teach them a lesson," he said. He guided the Erebus into a series of sudden, unpredictable movements. The warship's targeting systems, designed for predictable motion, could not keep up. Energy beams that could have devastated smaller vessels harmlessly passed the ship. Elias then activated the ship's hidden countermeasures. Electromagnetic pulses that disabled enemy targeting arrays for critical seconds. In those moments, the Erebus moved invisibly through their formation, striking only when the advantage was certain. "Sir," Lena said, "their fleet, they're falling apart. They don't know how to respond." Elias nodded. his eyes never leaving the main screen. Good. Let them underestimate us. That's when we are strongest. For the alien commanders observing from afar, it was a shock. They had never seen a human take control of a ship like this. They had assumed the Erebus was beyond understanding, beyond anyone's command. And yet here was a human, bending an ancient warship to his will with a combination of skill, acute intuition, and courage. One alien commander, blue-skinned and tall, muttered to his assistant, It listens to him. How is this possible? The assistant shook its head, disbelief written across its features. I do not understand. Our strongest ships, our smartest minds, none can command it. Only a human. Only him. Elias knew they were watching. He could feel their fear and frustration, and he allowed himself a small, quiet smile. The Erebus was his, not because of strength, not because of weapons, but because it recognized a mind capable of understanding it. The battle intensified. Alien warships fired volleys, energy beams cutting through space. Elias remained calm, guiding the Erebus with precise movements. He used the ship's gravity manipulation system to redirect incoming fire, bending space so that beams missed their target. Enemy ships collided with debris they could not see, all while the Erebus moved almost effortlessly through the chaos. Sir, they're trying to flank us, Lena warned. If they get around us, they won't, Elias interrupted. He adjusted the ship's orientation and activated a sequence that projected multiple holographic decoys. The alien fleet, unable to distinguish real from illusion, faltered. Their formations broke apart. The Erebus moved through them like water through rocks, striking only when necessary, avoiding unnecessary destruction. It was not just strategy, it was artistry. Each move Elias made combined human intuition with the ship's incredible capabilities. He did not simply command the Erebus. He danced with it. Every engine pulse, every shield adjustment, every hidden weapon activated in perfect harmony with his decisions. Hours passed. How time felt different inside the warship. Elias learned more about the ship with every maneuver. He discovered auxiliary controls that could deploy drones for reconnaissance, hidden systems that monitored enemy energy signatures, and even storage chambers containing weapons that had not been used for centuries. Each discovery reminded him that the Erebus was not just a warship, it was a living archive of knowledge, battle experience, and intelligence. During a brief lull in combat, Elias spoke to the ship almost as if it were a companion. We've come this far together, but there's more to learn. You have secrets I haven't found yet, and we will uncover them. The ship responded with a soft hum, lights flickering gently. It was the closest Elias had felt to communication, beyond words. It trusted him. It relied on him. And in turn, he relied on it. But even as the humans celebrated their small victories, the alien fleet was not defeated. They regrouped, forming a larger formation that threatened to trap the Erebus. Elias studied their movements carefully, realizing that a direct attack would be disastrous. No, he said softly. We won't fight them head-on. That's not how humans win. He began planning a complex maneuver, using the surrounding asteroids and the radiation from a nearby pulsar. The Erebus would move unpredictably, slipping through gaps in the enemy formation while remaining invisible to their sensors. The humans' patience and intelligence would turn the tide, not sheer firepower. When the time came, Elias executed the plan with precision. The ship darted between asteroids, warped space slightly to mislead sensors, and struck at the enemy's weak points. The alien commanders were baffled, unable to comprehend the strategies being employed. For the crew of the Odyssey hovering nearby, it was uninspiring. Humans, they realized, were not the strongest, but they were the cleverest. They could solve problems that no other species could, improvise in ways that machines could not predict, and inspire courage in even the most ancient and intelligent of warships. By the end of the engagement, the alien fleet had been repelled, though not destroyed. They retreated, unwilling to risk further losses against an enemy they could not understand. The Erebus, fully awakened, returned to calm operation, its massive engines humming like a heartbeat. Elias leaned back in the command chair. exhaustion creeping in, but satisfaction warming his chest. "We've survived the first trial," he said. "But this is just the beginning. They will come again. And next time, we'll be ready." Lena approached, smiling. "You've done more than command a ship, sir. You've shown the galaxy what humans can do." Elias shook his head modestly. "We've done this together, the ship and I. The rest of the galaxy is only beginning to see it." As the Erebus glided silently through the stars, Elias realized something important. Command was not about force. It was about understanding, creativity, and trust. The warship had tested him, and he had passed. It had recognized a mind capable of partnership, not just obedience. And in doing so, humanity had proven itself once again, clever, courageous, and unyielding. The trials of command had begun, but Elias was ready. With the Erebus awakened and loyal, there was no challenge too great, no enemy too cunning, and no obstacle that could not be overcome with ingenuity and courage. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of unknown dangers and possibilities, and at the helm of a legendary warship, a human captain prepared to meet them all. The vast expanse of the Andromeda Expanse stretched endlessly before Captain Elias Thorne and the awakened Erebus. The distant stars twinkled, but the calm beauty of space could not hide the threat looming in the shadows. The alien warlord, furious and humiliated after the previous encounters, had returned with a fleet even larger and more heavily armed. Every sensor on the Erebus lit up with readings of enemy ships converging from multiple directions. Elias stood in the command chair, calm yet focused. The ship vibrated gently under his hands, as if sensing his determination. He had learned its capabilities, uncovered its hidden systems, and developed a bond that went beyond control. The Erebus did not merely obey, it trusted him. And that trust was humanity's greatest weapon, sir, Lena reported. Her voice steady, despite the tension. The alien fleet is 5 times larger than before. They are using new formations, adapting their strategies. This could be our toughest challenge yet, Elias nodded. They may have numbers, but we have advantage they cannot understand. Creativity, courage, and the ability to adapt. They cannot predict what we will do. The battle began with a wave of drones, probing the Erebus's defenses. Elias guided the ship with precision, slipping through their attacks like water flowing around rocks. Every movement was calculated, but also fluid and unexpected. The aliens had learned to anticipate conventional tactics. But human ingenuity was impossible to predict. He activated the stealth array, blending the ship into the background of stars. The enemy scanned and fired, but the Erebus was already moving through gaps they could not detect. Elias used gravity manipulation to bend space, diverting incoming attacks and creating openings for counterstrikes. "Sir, you're extraordinary," Lena said, awe in her voice. "I've never seen tactics like this." Leah smiled faintly. "It's not just me. The ship is powerful, but humans see possibilities others cannot. We think in ways the galaxy does not expect." As the battle intensified, the alien warlord's flagship emerged, a massive vessel bristling with energy weapons. Its captain, furious at repeated defeats, directed concentrated fire at the Erebus. Elias knew this confrontation would decide the outcome of the campaign. He considered conventional attack strategies but rejected them. Instead, he activated one of the ship's most ancient systems, a series of auxiliary engines and gravitational projectors that could manipulate the battlefield itself. The Erebus became more than a warship. It became a moving fortress. A ghost in space that could strike anywhere and vanish without warning. The flagship fired relentlessly, energy beams tearing through the void. Elias anticipated each move, guiding the ship to deflect attacks, use the environment, and strike at weak points. The alien fleet scrambled to adjust. But every maneuver only played into Ilias's hands. At a critical moment, Elias deployed a fleet of decoy drones. They moved independently, mimicking the Erebus's signature to confuse enemy sensors. The flagship fired at the illusions, wasting energy and exposing vulnerabilities. Elias seized the moment, activating hidden offensive arrays, striking the flagship with precision bursts that disabled engines and weapon systems. Sir, they're falling back. Lena shouted, excitement in her voice. The flagship is crippled. Elias did not relax. Not yet. We need to finish this carefully. One wrong move, and it could turn against us. He guided the Erebus closer to the enemy flagship, using the pulsar's radiation and nearby asteroid fields to limit its mobility. The ship's sensors scanned every angle, every energy reading, every structural weakness. Elias then activated the final system he had discovered, the warship's hidden tactical AI, a subsystem that had remained dormant for centuries. The AI merged with Elias's commands, amplifying his instincts, predicting enemy movements, and offering tactical solutions in real time. It was the perfect combination of human intuition and ancient intelligence. Together, they formed a force no other species could match. The flagship fired one last volley, but Elias was ready. The Erebus deflected, diverted, and then struck with precision. Energy bursts tore through the enemy's hull, disabling weapons, engines, and communications. The warlord's ship, once a symbol of dominance, floated powerless in space. The alien fleet, witnessing the defeat of their flagship, began to retreat. Their morale shattered. They scattered into the void, unwilling to risk further losses against an enemy they could not predict. The humans and the Erebus had won, not by brute strength, but by strategy, creativity, and courage. Elias leaned back in his command chair, exhaustion creeping in, but satisfaction warming his chest. "We did it," he said quietly. "We've shown them that humans are not to be underestimated." Lena approached, smiling. "You've done more than command a ship, sir. You've proven humanity's ingenuity and courage." Elias shook his head. "We did it together. The ship, the crew, and our ability to think beyond limits. That's what makes humans strong." The Erebus hummed softly, as if agreeing. Its lights pulsed gently, a signal of recognition and trust. It had chosen humanity, and it would follow them wherever they went. The warship was no longer just a relic of the past. It was a symbol of human potential, intelligence, and bravery. After the battle, the council called a meeting. Representatives from multiple star systems observed the Erebus in operation. They had seen humans take command of a legendary warship, defeat a powerful alien fleet, and survive against overwhelming odds. Their assumptions about humanity had been shattered. Elias addressed the council. "We did not win because of strength alone. We won because of intelligence, courage, and the ability to adapt. Humans have always faced challenges that seemed impossible, and we have survived by thinking beyond limits. The Erebus trusts us, and that trust is not given lightly." The council members, many of whom had doubted humans for centuries, could only watch in awe. The Erebus, ancient and powerful, responded to Elias alone. Humanity had proven itself not through conquest, not through violence, but through creativity, courage, and determination. In the days following the battle, Elias and his crew worked to repair the damage to the Erebus and explore its hidden systems further. They discovered archives containing knowledge from civilizations long gone, tactical strategies, and technologies that could benefit countless worlds. Humans, guided by curiosity and ingenuity, were uniquely suited to unlock these secrets. As the Erebus traveled through the stars, Elias often stood on the observation deck, gazing at distant systems. He thought of the battles they had faced and the challenges yet to come. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers, but humans were capable of facing them. Their ability to adapt, to think creatively, and to act courageously gave them an advantage no weapon could provide. "Sir," Lena said one evening, "the crew is talking. They believe humans will be remembered for centuries, not just as survivors, but as leaders and thinkers." Leah smiled. "Perhaps, but we act not for recognition, but because it is who we are. Humanity has always faced the impossible, and we will continue to do so. That is our legacy." Erebus responded with a gentle hum, almost as if agreeing. Together they were a symbol of hope, courage, and intelligence. Humanity had proven itself to the galaxy, not through conquest, but through mastery of mind, spirit, and ingenuity. Elias knew that more challenges awaited. Other species would come, curious or envious of humans' success. But with the Erebus, humans were ready. They had a warship that responded to intelligence and creativity. Guided by a species that thrived on ingenuity and courage, the galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary. A human had awakened a sleeping giant, guided it through impossible battles, and forged a legacy that would echo across the stars. And as the Erebus moved silently through the cosmos, Elias felt a quiet satisfaction. Humans had proven their worth, not by weapons, not by numbers, but by their ability to adapt, think, and act with courage. The stars were no longer just distant lights. They were opportunities, challenges, and stages for humanity's ongoing journey. The legend of Captain Elias Thorne and the Erebus had begun. It was a story of ingenuity, courage, the unyielding spirit of humans, a story that would inspire generations to come in the endless expanse of space. A single truth became clear. When humans were underestimated, they became unstoppable. And when humanity commanded a warship older and wiser than any living being, the galaxy could only watch in awe. The Erebus and its human commander moved forward, ready for whatever the stars would bring, carrying the legacy of courage, intelligence, and determination that would forever define humanity in the universe. The desert sun burned bright over the endless waves of golden sand. Liam wiped the sweat from his brow and adjusted the strap of his small backpack. He had traveled far from the nearest human settlement, driven by curiosity more than necessity. People often said the desert was empty, dangerous, and unyielding, but to Liam, it was full of secrets waiting to be found. He had been walking for hours, following faint markings on old maps and whispers from explorers who had gone missing. His boots sank slightly into the soft dunes as he kept moving. His eyes scanned the horizon constantly, alert for anything unusual. He had no weapons, no backup. Only a small toolkit and a scanner that beeped faintly as he walked. Then, something caught his attention. At first it looked like a mound of rock half buried in sand. But as he got closer, the shapes became sharper, more mechanical. Liam slowed his steps. His heart beat faster. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Rising from the sand was a huge structure, part machine, part living thing, or at least it seemed so. Its surface shimmered faintly, as if it had absorbed the sunlight and was now glowing on its own. Liam circled it cautiously. The desert wind blew grains of sand across the surface, revealing patterns of strange symbols and carvings. They looked alive in the sunlight, almost moving if he stared too long. The scale of the object was enormous. It was clearly a fighting vehicle, but not like any human design. Its curves were organic, smooth, yet precise. Small panels blinked faintly with dormant lights. He could see marks of past battle scratches, dents, and scorch marks, but the vehicle lay still, as if waiting. "Is this abandoned?" Liam whispered to himself. His scanner beeped rapidly now, detecting energy signatures that were weak but unmistakable. His fingers trembled as he reached out to touch one of the glowing panels. The surface was cool, smooth, and slightly pulsing under his fingertips. The scanner's screen flickered, and suddenly a small hologram appeared, floating above the panel. Alien symbols glowed in the air. Liam had no idea what they meant, but instinctively, he pressed a sequence of buttons. The hologram shifted, showing schematics and lights tracing the shape of the vehicle. His heart leaped. This is real. It's real. The wind howled around him as he took a careful step back. He realized that finding something like this could change humanity's understanding of the galaxy. Yet, a small voice in his mind warned him. Alien forces could still be nearby. He remembered the rumors patrols, scouts, even automated defenses left behind after battles. His curiosity battled his caution, but in the end, curiosity won. Liam spent hours studying the vehicle. He tried to touch different panels, making notes and sketches in his small journal. Each time he did, faint hums resonated through the air. He noticed that, when he moved his hands slowly over certain areas, lights would blink in response. It was as if the vehicle was alive. By late afternoon, Liam decided he had to see if it could move. He took a deep breath and approached the cockpit, a small hatch-like area near the front. It was tight, but it opened easily when he touched a glowing panel. The interior was unlike anything he had seen in human machines. Controls were minimal, almost intuitive. Screens floated in midair, showing strange diagrams and shifting symbols. There were no traditional buttons or levers. It was as if the vehicle wanted him to think, to imagine commands, and it would follow. Liam hesitated. "Okay, let's see if you work," he said softly. He placed his hands on the nearest panel, letting his fingers hover over the air as the holographic interface shifted and swirled. A hum grew louder, vibrations running through the floor beneath him. The panels glowed brighter. Then the vehicle shifted slightly. A small section of its body lifted as if testing movement. Liam's eyes widened. He took another step, pushing the interface slightly harder, thinking about moving forward. The vehicle responded, sliding across the sand with surprising grace. It was fast, yet gentle, not like any human machine. Liam laughed, a mix of disbelief and excitement. "This is amazing." Hours passed as he experimented cautiously. He discovered that by focusing his thoughts on simple movements, the vehicle responded almost instantly. Forward, backward, even turning in place. He realized that it was semi-sentient, understood his intentions, learned from his actions, and even adapted slightly to his inexperience. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, a creeping fear touched him. The scanner beeped again, this time with higher intensity. Liam frowned. Something or someone was approaching. Shadows stretched over the sand, and he saw a small, distant object moving rapidly toward him. Could it be aliens? Scavengers? He wasn't sure. Panic threatened to take over, but Liam forced himself to think. He climbed into the cockpit fully and focused. The vehicle seemed to sense the danger. Lights on its hull brightened, shields activated, and the hum grew stronger. He hadn't intended to activate any weapons, but the alien machine seemed to know instinctively that they were in danger. A flying drone appeared over the horizon, its shape sleek and predatory. Liam's breath caught. The vehicle responded before he even thought. It glided forward faster than he had expected, dodging the drone's first attack. The human instinct to survive combined with the vehicle's alien technology, creating a synergy that neither could have predicted. Liam realized with awe that this was humanity's first real chance to understand alien warfare, and perhaps even to fight back. The drone hovered, scanning, then fired a small pulse toward the vehicle. The vehicle twisted, absorbing the energy harmlessly into its shield system. Liam marveled at how it worked. You're incredible," he whispered. He had no experience in combat, yet he was surviving against an alien drone. His heart raced with excitement and fear. Night fell quickly in the desert, the sky filled with stars unfamiliar to most humans. Liam guided the vehicle into a shallow canyon using natural cover. The drone hesitated, then disappeared beyond the canyon walls, unable to follow. Liam exhaled, relief flooding him. Sitting inside the cockpit, he realized something extraordinary. The vehicle was not just a machine, it was a partner. It understood, it adapted, and it trusted him in some small way. The thought amazed him. A naive human, inexperienced and untrained, had discovered a piece of technology far beyond anything humanity had created, and he had already survived his first encounter. For the first time, Liam thought about the implications. If humans could learn to use this, even a little, they might not be helpless in the galaxy. They could defend themselves, innovate, and perhaps even gain respect from species that had long considered humans weak. But Liam also knew the journey would be dangerous. The alien forces would not let this go easily. And yet, as he looked at the stars, he smiled. The desert, the vehicle, and the unknown future no longer frightened him. Curiosity, courage, and a little luck had brought him this foreign, perhaps. If he dared even farther, he stayed awake that night in the cockpit, watching the desert winds and feeling the subtle vibrations of the alien vehicle beneath him. The sand shifted outside like quiet whispers, and the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the universe itself was aware of the discovery. Liam realized that his life had changed forever. A naive human had found a deactivated alien fighting vehicle and everything was about to change. By dawn, he had made a decision. He would take the vehicle with him, study it, understand it, and prepare for whatever came next. Whatever danger awaited, Liam would face it. He was no longer just a wanderer in the desert. He was the human who had awakened an alien machine. The galaxy would soon learn that humans could do extraordinary things. And so, with the first rays of the sun warming the cockpit, Liam prepared for the journey ahead. The desert stretched before him, full of unknowns, but the vehicle beneath him hummed with life, ready to follow, ready to protect, and ready to change the course of human history.